The Protestant Reformation began in 1517 and is one of the most significant events in Christian history. It all started with a German monk named Martin Luther. At that time, the Catholic Church was the dominant religious force in Europe, but it was also facing criticism for some of its practices, especially the sale of indulgences. These indulgences were essentially payments people made to the church to reduce the punishment for their sins, both for themselves and their deceased loved ones in purgatory. Luther was deeply troubled by this practice. He believed that salvation couldn't be bought with money, but was a free gift from God received through faith alone. On October 31st, 1517, he took a bold step and nailed his 95 Theses to the door of the Wittenberg Castle Church. These theses were a list of propositions and questions challenging the church's teachings and practices, particularly the sale of indulgences. This act is often seen as the spark that ignited the Reformation. Luther's ideas quickly spread across Europe, thanks in large part to the printing press, which had been invented just a few decades earlier. This new technology allowed for the rapid and wide dissemination of his theses and other writings. People from all walks of life began to read Luther's work, and many found his arguments compelling. His call for reform resonated with widespread dissatisfaction with the Church. The Catholic Church, however, did not take kindly to Luther's challenges. In 1521, Pope Leo X excommunicated him. Shortly after, Luther was summoned to the Diet of Worms, an assembly of the Holy Roman Empire, where he was asked to recant his writings. Luther famously refused, stating, "Here I stand, I can do no other." He was declared an outlaw, and his writings were banned. Despite this, Luther found protection under the Elector Frederick the Wise of Saxony. While in hiding at Wartburg Castle, Luther translated the New Testament into German, making the scriptures more accessible to ordinary people. His translation had a profound impact on both religion and the German language. The Reformation spread beyond Germany. In Switzerland, John Calvin and Huldrych Zwingli became prominent reformers, each contributing their own ideas to the movement. Calvin's teachings, in particular, laid the groundwork for Reformed churches and had a lasting influence in places like Scotland, the Netherlands, and France. The Reformation also led to significant political and social changes. Many princes and rulers saw an opportunity to assert their independence from the Pope and the Holy Roman Emperor by supporting the Reformation. This resulted in a series of conflicts and wars, most notably the 30 Years' War, which devastated much of Europe. One of the key outcomes of the Reformation was the establishment of Protestantism as a major branch of Christianity. Different Protestant denominations, such as Lutherans, Calvinists, and Anglicans, emerged, each with their own interpretations of Christian doctrine and practice. The Catholic Church, in response, initiated the Counter-Reformation, a series of reforms aimed at addressing some of the criticisms raised by the Reformers and reaffirming Catholic doctrine. The Protestant Reformation fundamentally reshaped the religious landscape of Europe and had lasting effects on Christianity worldwide. It emphasized the importance of Scripture, the need for personal faith, and the idea that salvation could not be bought or earned through good works alone. It also encouraged literacy and education, as people were encouraged to read the Bible for themselves. In summary, the Protestant Reformation began with Martin Luther's bold challenge to the Catholic Church and grew into a widespread movement that changed the course of history. It was a time of great religious, political, and social upheaval, and its legacy continues to influence the world today.